Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So quick video today with this carburetor I've taken apart. This carburetor is a Nikki carburetor. It's a 795373 model. This came out of a Briggs Stratton 19 horsepower motor for my riding mower. This is a very common carburetor used on Briggs Stratton as well as Kohler motors. And it goes bad because what happens is the seals inside of here end up failing, and then you end up flooding your carburetor, and that's what causes it to not start anymore. So on today's video, as you can see, I've already taken everything apart to diagnose the problem, and I'm going to show you a cheap way to fix it with new seals, OEM and everything, versus trying to buy from Briggs & Stratton. So if you guys need to figure out how to open these or take it off the actual motor itself, there's plenty of videos online for the Briggs & Stratton motor for the John Deere riding mowers. This particular one is off a 2011, 2012 model. So it's about 16 years old at this point, and it was working fine, and all of a sudden it started sputtering and I couldn't figure it out. So I ended up taking all this apart. I watched a couple videos online, and then I decided to open it up, and I discovered I had a few bad seals. So you can see there's an OEM Briggs & Stratton. It still has their little emblem right there, but overall you could look around. It is an OEM one made by Nikki right there where the stamp is. It's held onto the motor by just two long screws that go through, and then it bolts it to the other end. So the gasket here looks like it's still good, but we're going to replace that on today's video. The backside here has a rubber gasket, which I did order two new OEM Briggs & Stratton seals for this side, as well as the side that bolts to the actual block. Those were only like $3 or $4, and I was already paying for shipping to get this kit over here. As far as the bowl and everything, as you can see, my plunger, for some reason, it looks like someone snipped that thing off right there because it's missing, and I didn't have the piece inside when I opened it up. I think the previous owner of this mower probably had issues with this thing being stuck and not working anymore, and they just took this thing off and clipped it. So I ended up replacing that with a new aftermarket one because I wasn't feeling like spending $60 or $80 on an OEM one. And this explains why my particular motor was always backfiring when I turned it off. So I just ended up getting this Keepa one right here. It's a direct replacement. It looks almost the same. I already tested it out of the bag, and the actuator actually works. I just put 12 volts onto the two pins, and it actually extracted and did what it's supposed to do. So that should work fine for what I need it for. For $6 or $8, that's much better than $60 or $80. So when I first took this thing off, everything looked fine. The only thing that I saw was the jet had popped out pretty easily when I took it out. So this is the jet right here. It's a little jet that gets the fuel correctly into the motor. So this jet actually had an O-ring on it. I actually tried to put one of my small O-rings around there, and I took the old one off. Right when I took the old one off, that thing just went brittle and broke into a bunch of pieces. I don't even know where the pieces are. They fell off somewhere, so I probably ended up throwing it away already. Once I took it off, I noticed the O-ring for here, which is the main fuel that comes in through this nozzle back here. It was still stuck on the inside of here, so I peeled it off of here. And when I peeled it off, you can see it broke into pieces right here. So this was the main culprit of this thing flooding. It's gotten brittle, and it's basically just hard rubber now, so it doesn't seal anymore. So what happens was when this thing filled up with fuel, it just basically bypassed the inside of this hole right here and went straight into the bowl and flooded it. Inside that hole is actually the needle for the float. That's what stops the fuel from flowing. There's a needle inside of here. It uses a plastic needle on the float, and it actually plugs that hole up inside of there when it's over full. This particular seal right here looked like it was still in good condition. It's still soft and works, but since we got it all taken apart and the new kit comes with a replacement, we're gonna go ahead and replace all that too. So as far as the kit I actually got the Kohler version of this kit. Kohler actually uses the same Nikki carburetor right here that Briggs & Stratton uses. So the replacement parts are all the same, and they offer this kit right here that includes that seal, includes that little O-ring. That's the very important O-ring right there. and it includes this other O-ring right here from Briggs & Stratton, the kit that they sell, and it doesn't include a lot of this stuff. Briggs & Stratton actually forces you to buy a new jet with that little O-ring, so this Kohler version right here is already worth the $17 or so that it retails for, and it comes with a new gasket. You only use one of these two gaskets right here for the Briggs & Stratton motor. The other gasket is this rubber one, so you don't need that one on the back side. In addition, it comes with a new return spring for the throttle and then a new adjustment nut, so you go ahead and replace those while we're in there, as well as a new needle right there and the pin right there that holds the plunger on. So this particular kit comes with everything you need and more for the basic overhaul of this unit. So first thing you want to do is basically pull this thing apart. On one of the sides it comes out one way, and then you pull this thing out, and then you could take the old needle right here out. Pretty straightforward there. Go ahead and put in the new needle out of the kit, and then that's all you really need to do for this float. If you want to go ahead and replace the pin at the same time, ours is not corroded or anything, so you can technically reuse it, but since we have the new one, we might as well take care of it all at once. So that needle is good. If you want to look at your old one, the tip of it is a rubber. That should still be good on here. So you just want to inspect yours if you're just wondering if it was leaking or not. So we'll put that to the side here. So next thing we want to do is take care of the O-rings. So the main O-ring right here, all you could do is just put it around this spot. Once it goes back in, it'll seal itself into the metal part. And then this ring right here, again, just follow the outline that's already here and just match everything up, and that should fit right in because it's an OEM part, everything fits. One reason why you may ask is why don't I just buy some of the aftermarket ones on Amazon? What I've seen lately as far as aftermarket goes, they've gotten really poor quality as far as the materials and the fitment they use. And for a few bucks more for just the parts I actually need for this project, ordering this OEM one is just spot on perfect. So we'll go ahead and get the jet O-ring for here. I tried some of my other O-rings that I have laying around, and just the thickness of them and diameter weren't right, so it would not fit. So once you drop that into there, you want to probably make sure you have a little pin or something to push it into there, because you need it nested perfectly to fit into this rod right here. Okay, so once we get into here, make sure you have the thing and it sits perfectly in there. It'll go in there, and once it fits in there, it won't fall out, right? Once the O-ring works, so you can see it's flush on the back side, it has to be flush there perfectly, but it won't fall out. And once you do that, that's pretty much it as far as the seals. I'm gonna put a little bit of silicone grease on that O-ring just because I don't want it to get damaged in here. So just put a little bit just around the edge of that. Get the, align that. And that's perfectly. And then on the back side, you'll see it'll sit in perfect all the way up. And then the seal actually hangs around a little bit because it's sealing against the bowl here. So we'll go ahead, put that back on, and then just tighten up the 2 screws that it comes with. And that pretty much seals up the inside right there. Go ahead, get the new washer on here. Get this into here. So one thing I noticed with the gasket that it came with is a slightly different size. Thickness is also a lot different than the Briggs & Stratton one right here. So I'll go ahead, leave this thing around just in case I have issues, but nothing is wrong with it. It looks like it's still in good condition, but we'll go ahead and use the new one on the reinstall just because it's the new one. For my model, I thought this was the same exact spring right here for this guy, but it's not. It's slightly different, so I'll forego changing that one out. I don't want to mess with this. Plus, the spring is perfectly fine right now. There's no corrosion or anything that's affecting anything there. And then this right here is going to go into there if you choose to replace that. It doesn't look like it needs to be replaced, and I just don't want to mess with that if I don't need to. So I'll just save these 2 parts for another project or if I need it somewhere else. Before I put it back in, I'll go ahead and just scuff the stainless steel or the aluminum polish areas right here with the gasket, just to get rid of any dirt and oxidation from 16 years worth of use. So before we put everything back together, it looks like we fired it up. Everything works. So this thing is back to idling properly again. Initially, when I was troubleshooting this, I had to check this thing. I was thinking it was spark. I was thinking it was a spark plug. Ended up being the flooded carburetor. So we pretty much fixed this thing and we're back to running again and idling correctly. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all this back together as far as getting all the panels and everything back on here. Hey guys, thanks for joining me all the way to the end of this video on getting this carburetor fixed on this John Deere Briggs Stratton engine. As you can see, pretty straightforward. Hopefully what I showed you is going to save you a few bucks on the kit that you need to buy. Check out the links down in the description and the part numbers and everything I list down there on exactly what I bought and where I got them all. If you guys found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to your channel, go ahead and subscribe to your channel. Turn on bell notifications to get notified every time I upload a video. For all these different projects, whether it's on the car, on the house, on the lawnmower, or whatever I'm doing around here, if I can do it, you guys can do it. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.